Welcome to Dave C, straight from the pit. Dave C here. For today's show, I thought we'd talk about 1983 Major Bludd, the Cobra Mercenary. And to start off, I thought I would talk about some of the stuff I've read in Mark Bellow's book. And pretty interesting stuff, really. I learned that the figure was first advertised in 1982 and advertised as a free mercenary mail-away. But contrary to the figure, you couldn't actually get, whether on card or through this mail-away offer, until at least past January 25th, 1983. So this figure you could never get in 1982. Even if someone tries to tell you that, it isn't true. I got this figure in Christmas 1983 with the Mobile Command Center and a few other figures like Airborne and Destro, Snow Job, to name a few. But he was definitely my favorite Cobra from 1983. And even though I really liked Destro, this guy, there was just something about him. And one of the things that I'll never forget is his arm. It's you can't bend it. So in its articulation, it just stays straight. Not like the other arms where they could bend in different positions. And I always remember that as a kid. And apparently, I didn't know until a little while ago, the reasoning for that is not that it's a mechanical arm, and when I was a kid, I kind of thought that's what it would be, but it's not that. It turns out that it's actually like a blast shield armor on his arm. And yeah, because he has a rocket launcher pistol that he uses, as shown there, and this is supposed to be some kind of armor that won't let the backblast burn his arm. So that's kind of something interesting that I've never really heard before, because I always kind of thought, as well as my friends, that it was just some kind of maybe a limb that was lost by Major Bludd, and then he had a robotic one kind of replace it. Something like that. Something like like a pirate, how he has like a hook on his hand or something, or a peg leg or something like that. But speaking of that, I can show you the Hector Greedo art with that blast shield armor arm, and there it is there. And here's the card art for this 1983 figure. It says fully posable modern army figure. G.I. Joe, Major Bludd, the enemy. It's got the 82 to 85 explosion behind him. It says Mercenary, codename Major Bludd. He's a bit of a forgotten guy now. I think only because after he came out, there were so many other Cobras that came that were quite popular. Like in 83, all you had for Cobra was Cobra Officer, Cobra Soldier, Destro, and Cobra Commander. So he was kind of like the trifecta leader guy, because he would have been the third guy that was other than just a soldier, a foot soldier for Cobra. So he kind of got attention then, and a lot of us as kids, we remember that, and we totally enjoyed having him in our collections. But then in 84, there was Storm Shadow, a ninja who came out, so he was very popular. And then Firefly, a saboteur, another very popular figure. Obviously, when the Baroness came out in 1984, she was very, very popular. And there was Scrap Iron, Zartan, a very famous figure as well that could change color. So yeah, Major Bludd kind of went by the wayside a little bit, and then by 85, Like, he was still popular, but yeah, definitely in 1983, he was the most popular he ever was. Larry wrote him a pretty interesting file card, and I'll read it to you in a second. One of the things that is interesting is it says his poetry on the card came out of the Attica Gazette. And obviously, Attica Gazette is a fictional newspaper, but some people have said that that was from Attica, New York. Maybe the newspaper comes from Attica Correctional Facility, which is a maximum security prison located in Attica, New York. And prisoners were usually sent there if they incurred disciplinary infractions at other facilities. So Larry Hama stated that Major Bludd was indeed one of the alumnus. I don't have this guy's file card, but I do have the Marvel Order of Battle, as shown here, number 3, a 1986 Marvel book that lists a lot of the Cobra guys in alphabetical order. This is Herb Trimpe art, the Marvel artist, who was a good friend of Larry Hama's. And it says, codename Major Bludd, mercenary. Final name, Sebastian Bludd. Primary military specialty, terrorist. Secondary military specialty, weapons and tactics. Birthplace, Sydney, Australia. Grade, 04, Major. Bludd received initial military training in the Australian Special Air Service. Later joined the French Foreign Legion. Worked as a military advisor in a number of countries and is currently wanted for crimes in Libya. Proficient with every form of infantry weapon in current use. Bludd has a tactical mind like a steel trap. Qualified expert, all NATO and Warsaw small-packed arms. And here's the poetry part that I was talking about. Major Bludd writes poetry, badly. A mercenary's job is a heartless one. I'm a soldier for hire, like a pawn shop gun. My ruthless tactics keep you on your toes, 'cause I fight 'em all, whether friends or foes. From the Attica Gazette. He first appeared on the somewhat animated series, on the 5-parter The Mass Device. And here's a VHS of that. I really like having this in my collection. But yeah, earlier in the video I showed a snippet of Major Bludd when he's going after Snake Eyes in the Arctic, and that was from that cartoon.
Look! There was someone alive in there!
Hold your fire! Oh, damn it! It's a walking time bomb. Let him go! He'll die soon enough!
He was a prevalent character on the animated series in the 80s for G.I. Joe for many, many years, and a lot of people's favorites. Here's a closer look at the figure. I'll try to get him in focus here so we can see him a little bit better. You can see he's got an eye patch. He's got a handlebar mustache. He's got dog tags, presumably from people that he's maybe killed, because he's a mercenary and he's a gun for hire. And Cobra Commander uses his services. So although he is a Cobra, he could easily work for anybody. As anyone who knows about mercenaries, that's kind of what they do. And you can see his blast shield arm there. That is not articulated. It's just one piece. It goes up and down. And then he has a chest plate. So probably more like some kind of Kevlar for stopping rounds. And he's got a patch on his arm there. And another patch on the bottom, on his forearm. Looks like chevrons. He's got brown pants. He's got a holster on the side of his leg. You can see better there now. Came into focus. with looks like a 45 or maybe a 1911. It's got jack boots, German type boots. It's got a green stripe going down his pants. And there's the back of him. He's got that chest plate, covers his back as well. And his cover scheme, I really like. It's very basic, but sometimes the more basic this stuff is, the more realistic it is. And that was very important to me as a kid, and still is today. And he came with a missile backpack. As you can see there, it's got 3 missiles in the back. And what they call a rocket launcher right here, which is pretty interesting to me because I've never seen a handheld pistol type rocket launcher, but I guess Major Bludd came with one. There he is in the 1983 catalog that came with all the G.I. Joe toys for that year. And he's number 20, as you can see there, beside Destro. And it says there, number 20, Mercenary, Major Bludd. And I remember looking at this as a kid. Just an excellent catalog. All these catalogs, of course, I remember because I collected G.I. Joe from 82 until about 89. Yeah, I stared at what was inside these catalogs and circled what I wanted and checked stuff off that I wanted on several occasions. Major Bludd doesn't appear in the Marvel run until issue 16, as shown there, an October 1983 issue. I was going to take it off the wall to show you guys, but I have them all kind of pinned on the wall, and I used to take them off and show, you know, inside each book and all that, but kind of every time I do that, the thumbtacks get looser and looser, and now what I do, I just download photos from inside the book online and show you, so I don't have to open up these old classic books. But anyway, here are some photos here of the story for this that involves Major Bludd. So in this issue 16, called Night Attack, Cobra Commander hired Bludd to kill Destro, fearing he would usurp his command. In Washington, D.C., Cobra was battling the Joes, and Major Bludd was manning the guns on a Hiss tank driven by the Baroness. The Major took aim at Destro, but the Baroness realized what he was about to do, and swerved, ruining Bludd's shot. The out-of-control tank crashed. Bludd ran from the burning wreck, leaving the Baroness trapped. She was inside as it exploded. She survived, but was burned badly by the blast. So that's one of the first plots in the Marvel book involving Major Bludd. As you can see, he's kind of slimy, like Cobra Commander had him try to kill Destro. And then, of course, in issue 17, he's on the cover there, and there he is in a bus that he hijacks, and he's trying to escape, and there's a Joe coming on one of the Ram motorcycles to stop Major Bludd. And then later on, he's involved in a plot where he tries to get Cobra Commander's son, Billy, to kill Cobra Commander, to assassinate him. And then later on, has another altercation with the Baroness. So he's one of those guys that's always kind of around doing kind of questionable things for Cobra and for himself.